Alan, unfortunately, had some issues at home that he had to deal with, and I really wanted him to shine. I think he really wanted to shine, but when life gets in the way, you gotta make your call.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing today?
Great.
The judges are almost ready for you. There's a lot to do today and some big decisions to be made. So when I call your name, make sure that you're ready to go. The judges have asked to see you one at a time. You'll each have 20 minutes to present your final brand and answer any follow-up questions that the judges have. We've had your artwork blown up to poster size, so make sure that before you go see the judges, you take your final brand label with you. Alan, unfortunately, you got back to Thomas too late, so you'll be making your final presentation without any artwork.
I kind of knew what to expect because I knew that I hadn't done my very best work on my marketing and business plans, and I was going to have to probably step up to the plate and really have a dynamic presentation to pull it off.
What we're going to be doing is we're going to be building a Negociant-style wine venture called Cellar 805. Everybody, I think, had the jitters except for me on this round. I mean, we had a week to do a business plan. I gave them 35 pages of business plan, including 5 years of P&L, entire wine line, analysis, marketing plans. I have nothing to worry about at this point. From the consumer end, we're looking at doing a lot of word of mouth, a lot of blogging, a lot of guerrilla marketing. But
you have a 35-page business plan. We want to know whether that's true or whether there's some smoke and mirrors going on there. So I think I'm going to start with Thomas in terms of the label.
I enjoyed working with Taylor. He was the first one to get in touch with me. He was really open to ideas and moving things forward, and he took advantage of my company's knowledge.
Looked like he had done a lot of front-end research and identifying who he wanted to market to, but I still feel like there's vagueness on or lack of clarity on how you're going to get your product in their hands. The one thing that I still also felt a disconnect on is your price point. You kind of spelled out you're hitting kind of a 15 to 20 or 15 to 25, and you kind of use a term in your plan about affordable luxury. To me, the price point isn't matching that. And you're a business guy, you know that when you create demand, high demand, what does that do to price? It jacks price up. So if you're trying to establish and stay firm to a price point that's low, that's where I think you're missing the mark.
I know this business plan inside and out. I mean, I breathed it I was up until 4 in the morning working on this thing after I work all day. I think if you look at the primary research data that we provided to you, you're going to see that most consumers purchase wine in the 15 to 20 and 25, $20 to $25 price ranges. Typically, when you're spending the 20, 25, you're sort of reaching out a little bit more. A lot of people, I think a lot of people in the wine world think everybody's buying $35, $50 bottles of wine, $100. So once I was able to explain to Scott, no, this is what we're trying to do with this, or explain that to Leslie, so I ended up coming out strong.
James, I definitely sensed your passion for wine, and I really enjoyed that, you know. I think where I was a little bit disappointed was on the communication. I think it took you until Thursday or Friday to contact me. Thank you so much. I think you were missing a great opportunity to maybe work even more on your brand, where you could have maybe had more options, fine-tune it better, you know, that sort of a thing. But I do love your passion.
Yeah, I got the same sense from our first meeting that passion you have. But some of the things I think that you had in your plan that weren't really fully addressed was really the big how. How are you going to get your product to market? To me, it seems like a little bit more of a roll of the dice approach to marketing.
Obviously, what I did wrong with Thomas and Scott was I should have get a hold of them exactly when I was supposed to. I did stall for about a few days because life, for me, just gets busy.
Overall, when I look at this challenge and I look at what I've produced, I'm pretty happy with it. My biggest fear is that somebody's going to look at my plan and think I'm out of touch with the wine reality.
Ross, what did you think about this challenge? I mean, were you comfortable in the role of marketer?
No, I must admit that probably of all the challenges in this contest, this is the one that makes me the most nervous because I feel like a fish out of water.
Well, you're still going to have to show us what you've got. Tell us about your brand and your marketing strategy.
Okay. Well, my brand, I'm trying to start a label called RPM Wines, and I think I'm going to lead with 45 RPM. I'm kind of trying to position this as a Bordeaux house might, where I'm going to have a first label that's a smaller run, and then introduce a second label that would be more readily available and less expensive. I think my presentation to judges was scattered in this entire challenge, not just in my presentation to the judges. I feel like I was unfocused and a little bit too scattered.
Of all the people that, of marketing plans with everyone that brought ideas, I saw yours as having the biggest potential for being able to do some amazing things from a marketing angle and distribution angle in how you package it. But I feel like you felt short on that. I think that it's lacking the energy, it's lacking the passion, and most importantly, it's lacking you.
When I was standing in front of the judges, I felt like I was almost on trial because I'd already been accused and now I had to defend myself.
Why am I looking at a blank form there with no label on it? All three of the other contestants have had their labels ready for us. You turned in yours late. You turned in your business plan late, and it was, you know, barely a page and a half long. So it's hard to assess it, and it's disappointing. I mean, Thomas, how was working with Alan?
I felt like we were there as a resource to help out. It didn't get taken advantage of, things were late or didn't come through at all.
There was no follow-up with explanations or anything, and right up to the last minute of saying, you know, hey, can I bounce something off you? And yeah, you know, I'll try to get what you, and then there was nothing.
And actually, I'd like to have you tell me about your brand, because we got a chance to look at your ideas, and frankly, I thought they had great potential. So I want to know more.
Thank you. That was uncomfortable, but necessary, and I appreciate your honesty. Yes, unfortunately, a little bit of my real life got in the way of me achieving what I wanted to do in terms of developing the marketing and advertising and taking advantage of what you had to offer. I do have a little something I'd like to show you here, if that's okay.
I'll pass.
I'll see it.
You know what? To be honest with you, I think you owe it to me.
I don't want to go home. Nobody does. I do think I could have done a better job on my business and marketing plan. Unfortunately for me, it just came at a time where my life where I was going through a lot of changes. What I've got here is just basically a bottle shot of what the label should look like. And
Oh, you weren't going to give me one anyway.
I've got it.
How come there's only 3?
Yeah, I mean, come on. This is like exactly how hard is this?
I mean, there's 4 judges, right?
I was able actually to go in and negotiate with the winery here to print those this afternoon. So this is very last minute, as you might say. But let me tell you a little bit about...
So they only gave you permission to print 3?
That's what he printed. And the beggars can't be choosers. I took what I could get. I wanted to have something other than a blank canvas to look at.
All right, 60 seconds.
So the concept's familiar. You're familiar with classified ads. The red circle kind of draws you in. And the idea is to sort of create a personal feel for it, to say, hey, it's sexy and seductive Syrah, seeking muscular Cabernet, you know, for great steaks, dining out occasions, and then expanding that line onto a classified white, and eventually bringing a line extension to do a varietal wine, classified Syrah, classified Cabernet, a slightly higher price point. But I really think it's something that, I'm not seeing a lot of wine out of Paso right now that's under 10 bucks. And this is something that should be $8.99 and $9.99. And I think it really could do well in high volume.
I think we've heard enough to make a decision.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you. When the judges were deliberating, I felt certain that I was going to go. I was just wondering who would be my partner, you know, in the elimination.
Before we share our decision with you, I'd just like to pick up on something Scott said earlier. I mean, you all have been given an amazing opportunity. It takes people years to get exactly where you are right now. So, Taylor, this competition is now yours to lose. Congratulations, you're still in.
Ross, you're also still in the competition, but you are no longer in the lead.
I knew that Taylor was going to come with a great business plan. I knew that Taylor was going to spend a lot of time on it. I also knew that I couldn't compete with that, so I didn't really try.
That leaves James and Alan. You're in our bottom 2.
At the beginning of this challenge, we told you that 2 of you would be going home. We've decided to eliminate only 1.
James, you actually surprised us today. That's what made us change our minds. You're staying.
Alan, you're going home. Please leave the vineyard.
Thank you for the opportunity.
The rest of you, congratulations.
Well, you know, being in the final three, I feel very lucky. I feel as if I could win.
I've learned a few things. I spend a little too much time worrying about my weaknesses and not emphasizing my strengths. I never want to be discounted for my knowledge or my ability or my acumen. If people want to look at me and assume I'm, you know, a biker, a fat biker from Texas who likes his rock and roll, fine. But if you listen to me for 5 minutes and still think that, you're not listening.
For me to get to the Final Four was pretty much one of my goals, I think, from the beginning. I knew that I had what it took to get to the end and maybe to win the thing. I wish I had a chance to show a little more still of what I'm capable of, but I feel really lucky to be in here. This whole experience is fantastic. It's a once in a lifetime.